Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Through the Fire. I am your host, Ryan Wickline, and today we're joined by a very special guest. He is an author and life coach, Mr. Don Suttajit. How you doing
Yeah,
today, Don?
doing good, and you said the last name right, so thank you
Yeah,
for
I
that.
didn't
Yeah,
butcher it at all, I don't think. I about did, but I caught myself.
yeah, it's a tough one, but you made it through. Thank you so much. Made it through the fire.
Yeah. Hey, man, I'm kind of excited to have you on. Like I said in backstage, man,
Yeah,
like your topic is pretty interesting, and I never thought about it like that.
yeah. I think I've been getting a lot of reviews on this book, and everyone's saying that it's very unique. So that's exactly what I was trying to do with this book. I wasn't going to write anything that has already been said and done. So yeah, it's been great so far.
Yeah. So the number one question the audience is probably wondering, who's Don Suttajit?
Yeah, Don Suttajit is based in Houston, Texas, a brand strategist who recently just really want to help people. So on the side, I got a life coach certification and wrote the book and started an initiative called Live Freely Project. And the book is actually one of the first initiative of hopefully many contents on just finding yourself and your purpose.
Yeah. So what led you to start life coaching?
Yeah, I think because I'm sure like a lot of people, like I struggled when I was younger. I lived in depression for most of my 20s. And so, really, in the end, I found that I didn't know who I was and didn't know what I really wanted. I was doing what the world told me to do. And there's something about that. I turned 40 not that long ago. And I was like, man, I want to devote myself to this now. I reached the career. I've done well in my career path. Like, what's next? Like how do I end strong, right? I mean, I still have hopefully years of living, but like when you turn 40, you kind of think about these things, and yeah, I think it's just time to give back.
Yeah. Isn't it awesome that you just can look back and be like, man, I just need to pivot and go down another track to kind of be ready for the next challenge?
I think so. They said there's like two mountains, right? Like the first mountain is probably like your career and stuff, and then the second mountain is your authentic self. And so I think I'm in that phase of my life.
Yeah. What types of services do you provide?
Yeah, I do coaching, and I really just focus on helping people find themselves and their purpose. And so that it just comes in many form. Everybody's different, and yeah.
Yeah. So what would you say the biggest challenge your clients face is?
That's a good question because everyone's so different. I think it's really having the faith in themselves to get started. We all hear these advice before, right? Like, like you got go for your dreams, go for whatever. But like to do it is a whole different story. And so I think that's where coaching really comes into play. Someone to really kind of push you forward, right? Like show you the way. Like maybe that's not working, maybe this is working, so you can see objectively how to get from A to B. And so for me, I love psychology as well. And so I'm really into identity, and so that's where I push a lot, and I really think that's where the barrier is you got to first believe or change who you believe you are, and so then therefore you can move forward, and that's where the focus really is.
Yeah, that story we tell ourselves
Yeah,
really can hold us back at times.
yeah. I was using this analogy with someone not that long ago, but like if you believe, for example, this is kind of extreme, but if you believe you're like a loser or something like that, right? You're going to live accordingly. You're probably not going to apply for that job, right? Or that you're not going to go for your dreams and goals. But if you change your mindset to, I am successful, right? To someone who believes that you can succeed, then you're going to take more risk and you're going to do more things, right? And so I think that's very vital.
Yeah. I love how you talked about that too. I mean, because you kind of are what you feed your mind. If you feed your mind good, positive thoughts
Right.
and tell yourself, hey, I'm I can do this, I can do this, I can achieve this, this is what I deserve, you're eventually gonna go find a way to go get it done.
Yeah, I think it really starts there. In the book, I talk about this fruit and root kind of analogy, right? Like the your mindset is like your root. Uh, if you're rooted in good things, you're going to produce good things, right? And so I really think that's the foundation of everything.
Yeah. Why do so many people stay stuck in cycles of clutter despite trying everything?
Yeah, and it's exactly what we've been talking about, and that's why my book is the subtitle is an identity-based approach to decluttering and organizing your home and life. I really believe it's because you have to start there. Again, using that analogy of, like if you believe that you're messy, or if you have this, like I'll say another way, like you can. So there's a lot of books out there and things, tips and advice that kind of teach you how to fold your socks, for example. But if you can know how to fold socks all you want, but if you don't know how to get that motivation, if you don't know how to change your habits, then there's no point. And that's exactly what's happening. Another analogy is it's kind of like someone who we've all heard this story of someone who's, I don't know, like they've won the lottery or something like that, right? And then they kind of lost it all because they never changed that mindset, right? Like you got to build the foundation first. You have to become someone who knows how to save, someone who knows how to invest, etc., etc., and then you can sustain all of that. So in the same way, it's like, man, a lot of us we didn't learn how to really be organized, and then we inherit or we accumulate all these things, uh, and then we just don't know what to do with it, and then clutter is the fruit of this, is the byproduct of all of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some tips to help someone stay more organized when they say they're too busy?
Yeah, I actually have a whole chapter on that. Too busy. Again, if we use the root and fruit kind of analogy, the root cause of busyness is just lack of clarity. You don't really know what you want. You don't really know. Uh, um, yeah, if you prioritize exactly what you want, uh, you'll be able to say no to more things, right? Like busyness is just is clutter in itself. It's like, man, I'm just gonna take on everything, right? Like yes to this, yes to that, yes to this. And if you know who you are and what you want in life, you begin to build this natural boundary that helps you say, no, that's not me. I'm gonna say no to that. I don't have time for that because I need more time for this, that aligns with me more. So I think it's really that. Like once you get your foundation right, like it's yeah, busyness is, I mean, you'll still be busy, but you'll be busy doing you.
Yeah, you're more aligned then.
More lying, yes. Sure.
How does identity influence the way we organize and live in our homes?
Yeah, big time. So identity, right? We know that the definition of identity is really, it encompasses your values, your beliefs, your all of that, your habits, everything who you are is encompassed in this word identity, right? And so one of the biggest thing is belief. And if you can have um like for me, I grew up poor, right? And I used to have belief like of I need to hold on things because that costs a lot of money, right? And so it's these type of mindset that prevents you from having a clean place. It's these things in your identity, what you value, and things like that.
Yeah. Man, I know so many people that are like kind of like hoarders that just won't let anything go. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, and their favorite line is, "You never know when you're going to need
Ex-
them."
ex-
Like no.
exactly. There's a whole bunch of that. There's I list a whole bunch in the book. I can't remember right now. There's one is that just in case, right? I need to hold on to this just in case. One, it's like the other one is like, man, but I spent so much money on that, right?
Yeah,
It's gonna be worth something one day. There's a whole bunch of them that we were taught when we were young that is the byproduct of our hoarding. And I was a hoarder too when I was young, and so I had to retrain a lot of that uh, as I grew up.
Yeah, I've definitely held on to some things a little longer than what I should have. I mean, I
Mm,
remember like when my dad died that I got a lot
mm,
of his stuff and I just held on to it. Then one day I was finally like, you know what? Like it's part of the healing process was
yes.
like time to get rid of it all. I don't need it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of that. Me too. When my mom passed away, I held on to a couple of her things, and so I had to shift my mindset of like, I mean, it takes a while, right? Like
Yeah.
to tell yourself like, hey, she's really gone now, and it's time to let go. It's time to live your own life. But I mean, that's the process. You let go when you're ready, right? And
Yeah.
so I didn't let go right. I don't know about you, but I didn't let
Yeah. It
go
took a
right away.
while.
Yeah,
It took a while. I know
yeah.
my brother too. It took him way longer than me,
Mm,
you know, but it's everybody's their own time, you know.
exactly. Exactly, and whatever it takes to kind of reshift that mindset, right?
Yeah.
Reshift that perspective. So yeah,
What is identity clutter and why is it hard for people to let go of it?
yeah. Identity clutter is it's a term that I didn't come up with, someone else did. Uh, Identity clutter is a name that you give to, for example, like if you look in your closet, everyone has all these old clothing, right? Like probably from your college party days, from your, I don't know, maybe some high school days, whatever, like some first job days, and so identity clutter is the type of clutter that represents your past self. I mean, or even socially compliant self. You were trying to be someone, or maybe the type of clutter that your parents told you. They want you to be a doctor, for example, and you picked up some of that stuff, right? And so these multiple of identities that you thought you used to be, and now it doesn't serve your current identity of today, right? Because we're all changing every day. So today you are someone who's different from the past you. So they're clutter that do not align with who you are today and where you want to go in the future. So they're just remnants of your old self that's just sitting in your space. And I use closet is probably the best one. Everybody has these old clothes,
Yeah.
and like maybe you're sharing for old team or whatever, and you're just kind of stuck in that time zone. So yeah,
That's
that's
a good
identity.
analogy though, because I'm thinking back to my closet, like, man, there's probably stuff in there that I swear I should have got rid of a long time ago.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. That's me too. Every year I have to go through and see if things are still aligning with who I am and or not. So closet is probably yeah, the biggest one.
How would someone go about changing their identity and declutter everything?
Yeah, that's a great question, Ryan. That's a tough one as well. But in the book, I outline well the first process is really to really take the time to kind of look into the situation. What I mean is the world is so busy, right? Like the reason why we don't know who we are and what we want in life is because the world is so freaking busy. We're always doing, doing, right? And so we never have the time to just sit and just ask ourselves, man, who am I and what do I really want, right? So that's the first biggest thing is being intentional about that. And then the second thing that I outline in my book is I actually have a formula. So the reason why it's hard for people to kind of answer this question, who are you, is because we don't really know how to answer that. And so if you were to go and ask people in this world, normally they'll talk about what they do, right? Like so like, hey, I'm Don, I am an author, I am whatever, right? Like I am a life coach. But is that really who you are, right? And so my book, the chapter in my book teaches you like, no, that's part of who you are. That's an expression of who you are. Yes, it ties back to who you are, but that's not who you are. In the book, I really talk about identity is like two sides of the same coin. One is the external, right? It's your outcome, what you do, your expression. Kind of going back to that fruit and root and fruit analogy, right? So you have the fruit, which is your like my authorship, doing the book, or for you doing podcasts. is an expression of who you are. But on the flip side, the internal side, your internal state, is more of maybe you and I, we're the creative type, right? Where it's more of like, what kind of being are you, right? It's the difference between being and doing, right? So what kind of being are you? You're a creative being? Are you a nurturer being, introvert being, extrovert being, right? This qualifies who you are, and then everything else is just the expression, if that makes sense. So really going through that, digging in, like, man, what kind of being am I, and how do I like to express myself, and how you like to express yourself can change, and so that's why, if you were to answer, like, I am Ryan, I'm a podcast, like that's not going to stay, because maybe 20 years from now you may want to do something else entirely, right? But the core of who you are, Ryan, whether, I don't know, I'm just using the word creative because I see podcast as a creative thing. Maybe that's at the core of who you are, right? And maybe in the future you're doing something else, but still in the creative realm. So really being intentional about finding that time and asking questions like, who are you, and what do I want? And really thinking in terms of that, like, there's the internal side and the external side. That's going to get you far. I mean, it's not one of those super easy thing, right? Like, it's probably going to take the rest of your life. But I think if you start, like, man, it gives you a direction to live, rather than just wandering aimlessly.
Yeah, I mean that's where I was at one point in life, was kind of just wandering aimlessly, lost.
Mm-hmm.
And what it took was me a lot of self awareness to sit there with
Mm-hmm.
myself in a quiet space and be like, is this the life I really want? Or
Mm-hmm.
what do I really want, you know?
Yes, sir. That's exactly it. That's yeah. That's why
Yeah.
you're here. That's why you're doing this.
Yeah.
You found yourself, right? And now the byproduct is this. This is your purpose. Now you're helping people with this.
Yeah. So like you talk about sitting in a quiet space. How hard was that for you to just to go sit in that quiet space and ask yourself what you want? Because we do live in a noisy world.
Yeah, Ryan, it was really hard, and it wasn't actually, unfortunately for me, it wasn't something that I, kind of set intentionally for myself. It kind of happened to me. I was one of those, when I was in college. Immediately after college, I was trying to start a business, a graphic design business, freelancing, all of that, and really trying to grow this thing. And I was working all the time, even on my vacation, I was working. And so one day it just all came crashing down. I had I didn't know at the time. I thought it was a heart attack, but I think it was a panic attack. And I was trying to shake it off. I went to a park and here in Houston and tried to walk it out, but I almost just crashed at that park. And so I was so dizzy and all of that, but I found a bench and I just sat down at this bench, and I was like, man, I need to change. This can't keep going like that. Again, at the time, I thought it was a heart attack. I didn't know what was happening. And so I thought about death, in honesty. And so I was like, I can't go down this route anymore. Something has to change. And so that began it all. And it was a long process. I mean, it wasn't like a 1 year, right away.
Yeah.
It was like probably a 10-year thing, until I think I found a kind of rhythm. I mean, but who knows how deep this rabbit hole goes, right? But it was that, and I would hate for anyone to have to, for something to happen to you. I hope your folks listening here would take that time, intentional time, to find it. I'm curious about you. Like, how did you?
I was stuck in a drug and alcohol addiction, was
Uh,
trying to get clean and sober. Like, man, this is not where I want to be. What
yeah,
happened? Like looking back at how I got there, I was like, man, look at all these mistakes I made. Like, how
yeah,
can I, like, looking at each one intentionally of what did I do wrong here?
yes,
Okay,
sir.
how did I end up down this path? Okay, and just analyzing everything and like, okay, trying to find that magical solution of how to get out of there.
Yeah, man. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, it's I mean, I guess sometimes we need that wake up call, but hopefully for your audience, you see that if you keep going down a certain path, you're gonna hit, like you and me, where we're
Yeah.
just lost, and I think if you can start now, so.
Yeah. Why do storage solutions and cleanouts often fail to last?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that again?
Why do storage solutions and cleanouts often fail to last?
Storage solutions, and all of that, bins and all of that doesn't last because they are, for me, they're just covering a deeper wound. It's just like a mask, right? It's just a band-aid solution. It's like what's going on is really there's an identity crisis within us, right? And so you can force yourself to clean all you want. You can put decorations in your house and whatever, right? Make it look tidy and clean, but that doesn't change the fact that one may have an identity crisis. That is what's going to keep things sustained. So yeah, I think you have to work on that before the bins and storage and things like that.
Yeah. How can a home become a tool that supports clarity, focus, and purpose?
Yeah, this is something have you read the book E-Myth before? Okay,
No.
it's actually I got this idea. It's kind of interesting. It's from a business book. So one day I was just reading a business book for anyways, when I was trying to start that graphic design freelance thing. But reading the book E-Myth, it really talked about how you know uh, the book talked about how you can streamline the business, right? Like you can they were using the McDonald's and Ford. Ford is probably the clearest one. An assembly line, right? Like you can turn your business into assembly line where you don't have to think too much. It just things just flow, right? Productivity just kind of flows. And so I was like, man, that's it. That's how I'm gonna clean my place. Right. At the time I was still very messy. And I'm like, that's a unique thinking that no one really taught me or thought about. And that's why I put it in my book. So, but anyway, it's about turning your home into a sort of assembly line. For example, like you may want to have a flow of, like, I don't know, like if you want to walk from your if you want to work out more, for example, I don't know, like you're at a living room but you leave out a dumbbell or something or a yoga mat, and then you naturally go to it, right? Because you see it, it's there, it's available. So you can set up your home for this type of thing, like as you walk through your front door all the way through your bedroom, for example. What do you want to happen? You can set up, I don't know, for example, coat rack is probably one, place for your backpack. Okay, cool. What do you want to do next? You want to walk to your kitchen? Maybe you find a way to I'm spitballing right now, so I don't know, I don't know, have something laid out to where you quickly go to the kitchen, maybe you grab something, right? And then as you walk through the kitchen, you go to another room, you have something else laid out. You want to read a book, for example, you have a book already laid out. Um, and you just go and you grab it. And anyways, all that to say, you can streamline things, like make your home into this thing that activates you by intentionally and strategically uh, placing things, really thinking through that, really using design. I think in the book I talk about how when people think about design, they think about the pretty things, right? But that's only one part, right? Design is form and function, and so you have to figure out the function first. And so once the function comes in, then the form can make it pretty.
Yeah, I've never even heard of that before, of making everything like an assembly line so you'll do that task.
Yeah, there's in the book I also mentioned one of the I think he's one of the greatest marketer out there, but he also talks about design, and one of the example was he used airport. It's like airport is meant for you to walk quickly through, like they'll have like their stores, for you to quickly buy something, but go straight to your gate or something like that. And that's essentially what design really is to get you to do something from A to B.
Huh. Never thought about it that way, but it's so true.
And same thing with grocery stores, right? They have things purposely by the counter and the way aisles are to get you to do certain things. Everything is all behavioral. Your environment affects your behavior.
Yeah. You wrote the book Tidy Less, Live More. What inspired you to write it?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about a couple of things already, but well, one, I was a mess. I clothes everywhere, step on things, type of. I was really messy, and so I was trying to resolve that for the longest time, looking for books. I used to go to Barnes and Noble all the time, just looking at the organizing section, just to figure out how to solve this thing once and for all. And I never found it, and it was one day I sat on the floor, just trying to clean my place, and I was so tired, and it just clicked. I was like, man, these are remnants of who I used to be. They're identity based, and I think that's the biggest thing that kicked everything off. And so once that kicked in, like I was like, man, okay, like I understand this now. Like if I get rid of things or make sure there's things that serve me, like that's it. That's the solution. And so I didn't see a lot of people talk about this at all. Like a lot of books out there were all about just the how to's, the methodologies, the external, right? Like how to cover up, how to buy
Yeah.
which bins, and what kind of hacks. I get that, right? They do. I'm not dogging any of that, but again, like if you learn, you can learn how many ways to fold a sock, but if you don't have the motivation, the drive, the understanding, the values, like it's no good. And that's what I lacked. And so I figured, like, I'm not the only one. And I was popping through a bunch of reviews today, and I saw that, yeah, like some people really resonated with me. It's I feel like it's one of the missing piece in this niche. And so yeah, I thought it was a book that I needed, and so I went for it.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, man, that's an interesting topic because you never think of it like that way. And but the more you're saying stuff about, I'm like, yeah, I bet
Mhm.
we all have stuff that goes with our old identity. That hey, we got to hold on to this for no reason because
Yeah.
it has like sentimental value, and it's
Yep.
like you don't wear it, get rid of it. It's just
Yeah.
there taking up space.
Exactly. I promise you, if you look, anybody, your audience, you'll see remnants of yourself. A lot of it is that. I mean, some things might not be, but a lot of it is
Yeah.
that. Mhm.
What was probably your biggest challenge you faced when you were writing it?
The biggest challenge writing this is just putting everything together. I'm a first time author, so trying to put this concept together because it's never been done. And so it's a lot of things. It's not just the identity part. The first part is psychology. Um, and so going through, I mean, even that in itself, like going through the, what do you call it? The imposter syndrome, right? It's
Yeah.
like, man, like I come from a brand strategy background. Like people are gonna pick me apart, right? Because like I don't have a psychology background other than my life coaching. So I really throw in a bunch of reference in there, maybe too much. I did see a review that says like, man, this is a little over research, but I mean that's a good thing to me.
Yeah.
And but so going through the imposter syndrome, which I think every author goes through, and then just writing this thing. Everything is so new to me. I didn't know how it's all gonna work. I didn't know how many drafts this thing was gonna take. Right? It took me 3 years of figuring things out. You know, yeah, things like that. Really, just it's a whole new experience, whole new ball game for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the biggest takeaway you want your readers to get from it?
The biggest takeaway from this book is just realizing that there's more to organizing and all of that and decluttering and than just the surface. There really is, right? Like based on what we talked about today, especially for someone like me, maybe there's folks that they can easily tidy and organize, but for me, there's definitely more to it. And if you look deeper, you can find ways to sustain that. And so the promise of tidy less, live more is so that you will tidy less. And so if you resolve the issues within, the external is easy.
Yeah. You're also a brand strategist.
Hmm.
What does that entail?
Brand strategist is someone who position uh, a company's messaging. Like if I want to show up a certain way, I'm gonna craft a certain story and things like that. Like personal brand is another thing, right? Like you and I, we are, we're trying to build a platform, and so in some ways, we're thinking about like, okay, like who am I in this space? And so, yeah, I do that for the corporate world. Hmm.
Yeah. How should an entrepreneur go about branding themselves?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's really looking deep within, right? Like I mean, really, you can be manipulative, which I don't. I'm not one of the. I don't take any jobs that are in that. I think it's really finding your authentic self because everyone has this voice. Everyone has something to really share. You don't need to copy others, right? And so I think it's really again like going back to finding yourself. It's taking that moment to stop and ask, man, who am I and what do I want to share with this world? And then really leaning on that and seeing like, okay, how do I do that? How do I show up, right? Everything else would kind of answer itself. You start with the why, kind of like the Simon Sinek, right? You start with the why, and
Yeah.
then I forgot his diagram, and then it goes to the how and all of that. But your why is the most important.
Yeah. I sat there and talked with a guy before on about like building personal brands and stuff. And we got into an in-depth conversation about things. And you see it all the time with social media and everything, everybody trying to copy off
Mhm.
another person. It's like, is that even your true self? And they're just trying to go viral. And it's like, you're never going to make it in the long run
Mhm.
if you're not yourself.
I like that. I like that you said in the long run, right? Because trends and copying and trends and things like that, they'll get you followers, but it's there's no soul behind that, right? It's and that's what it is. And I think I like that you said, so I forgot the word you used, long term or sustainable,
Yeah.
but I think it takes soul because that resonates with people, and that's what you that's what audience come back for, right? It's like, man, I remember this guy because of this and that, not the quick fun little thing they do or whatever, because then you end up looking the same. And so like the Super Bowl happened not that long ago, and so I'm watching a bunch of these there's a bunch of these doctor videos that they're doing a I don't know if you've seen it, the little dance, the whole Bad Bunny and a bunch of folks with the tree holding a plant in the background dancing, and so but anyway, all that to say, like it's a bunch of these doctors, they're all doing it. And yes, I saw one and I thought it was funny, but now I don't remember who is who anymore because
They're
the
all doing
same
it.
it's the same content. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So you were talking about your initiative. What's the first part of that initiative you were talking about again?
Yeah, the initiative. I use the word initiative. It really, it's my life mission. I think after I turn 40, something I really want to do. But anyway, it's called the Live Freely Project. It's really just that. I would like to see the world live more freely, and so it's just my way of saying, man, I want to use the rest of my life to spread this message, however far it goes. Now, I don't know. Right now I'm focused on a lot of content, so you'll be seeing a lot of YouTube and social media and things like that. The book, Tidy Less Live More, is another initiative. Through that, it's an LLC, through that LLC. And then I'm also working on another book after that, things like that. So I really want to use this. It's really a platform to spread this message of living freely, and what that is just detaching yourself from expectations of, I don't know, the world, just society, and really be authentic, finding the two questions: who are you and what do you want in this life? Time is short. We're all gonna die. And so, man, I would love to see everyone just kind of, even 1 ounce of their dream, right? Like, come on, man, like we're all gonna die here. And so, not to sound morbid or anything like that, but that's the truth, right? And so to sense just one bit of your dream, man, like, why not,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what's the second book about them?
It's all in this kind of realm, this live freely theme. And so I'm playing around with, why we're all burnt out. And so really the idea is, we're burnt out because we're following this this expectation that we put on ourselves, that I'm calling it God mode. We go into this God mode and we think we're invisible. We think we can do it all, right? We think we're strong. We think we can be everywhere. We think we can, all of that. And so when you're playing in this type of God mode kind of mindset, then you're gonna burn yourself out. You're not gonna achieve much. And so, based on that, it's still working. I barely finished my first book, and so, it's just something I'm playing around with. And I have a couple more ideas, but it's all within that live freely, find yourself kind of realm.
Nice. How can people get a hold of you?
Yeah, so I have a YouTube and I have Instagram, at Live Freely Project. And so, and also, you can, if you want to just email me, you can go to my website, livefreely.co, and there's a contact there, and just say hello. I'm ready to answer any questions.
Awesome. And I'll put that in the show notes for everybody too.
Appreciate it.
Is there anything we haven't covered that you want to talk about?
I think we covered a lot. Yeah, I think we covered a lot. Thanks for that question.
Awesome. All right. Final question. What is one piece of advice you'd like to leave our listeners with about overcoming adversity?
Overcoming adversity. Um, I think it's really the theme that we've been talking about today. It's really to overcome adversity. It's really to find yourself, to really dig in and just get into the deep depths of your heart. What do you really want? Who are you, right? Because once you find that, you find your why to work on, to go through adversity. Your show is called Going Through the Fire. That sounds hard, right? And it is.
It is.
Right, like, who wants to go through the fire, right? And so if you're going to make it to the other side, you need a strong why. You need a strong sense of duty and purpose. And the only way for me, I really believe, is just finding yourself and your purpose. And there's a sense of duty in that. I think that's why I wrote in the book too. Like, once you find that, it's like, man, I gotta do this. I gotta walk through the fire.
Yeah. And that's one thing I'll tell everybody. I won't lie to you because it is hard. It's going to be one of the hardest things you have to do is go through it, but it makes you so much better.
Yeah. It's even your show. Yeah, Going Through the Fire made me think about, what is it? It's like, a diamond doesn't become a diamond unless it goes through the fire or something like that. I don't remember what that saying is, but yeah, if you're gonna come out the other side becoming a diamond, you have to, get chiseled, right, and go through the fire and all that good stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. Well, Don, I can't thank you enough for coming on here and sharing your insight with all of us.
Yeah, appreciate you having me, Ryan. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. It was my pleasure. Well, guys, that's going to be all the time we have here today. Remember, the only way to get what you want is go through the fire.
There you go.